Well, hello there, everyone. Here to show you the tuition math. It's like it's like study. Talking about it's like the study homework here, and basically what I had written down right here is talking about I talk about for like most college tuitions, or if it's going to be any type of tuition it is, and knowing and understanding about the whole purpose about the cost of knowing that that we may have heard before, knowing about it's about between 68, 50 or something like that, to per semester. If it's for every semester, for a semester it will be about $6,850, and then on average that how much money could we be paying per hour. It's like for every hour, and I think I may have guessed about maybe 50 cents for every half hour, and I was also thinking about $1.50 per hour. And then I was like thinking about, I'm like, well, I don't know. I like keep thinking that that if that if it was only maybe $1.50 per hour, then more likely that that could also mean it's like if we earned enough credits from the previous last semester or something like that for the credit hours, any grants or anything like that. But just knowing about that that for most of us, just to start somewhere, is like if we do the math calculations, is knowing about if it was $5.50, if we were paying at $5.50 per hour that we're taking the class courses, and then knowing and understanding about the whole purpose about it's like if it's for every and then if we start working on an assignment, let's just say right around if the middle, like if the big hand were to be like right here on the clock, that we started working on something right around 1:15. Let's just say that this right here, about 1:15 right there for like Eastern Daylight Time, something like that. This right here, it's like as a watch, and we continued on until about 7 o'clock. Let's say use 7 o'clock as an example. We were working on it for about maybe 4 or 5 hours, maybe 7 hours total, and then knowing about that if we were to multiply 5 and 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, so altogether $45. I'm guessing that the Mathematica work were to be like about $45. Let's just say that the 45.55. Let's just say on average about 45.55 is about how much it costs to spend 7 hours in the classroom. And knowing that I might depend on how well we do, and knowing about for what the agreement is for what we pay, and knowing that like for $5 per hour, and then how much it is for about maybe 6 weeks of classes. So if we were to say do the mathematical type problem, like multiply that, it's like if it's $6,000 a semester, and let's just say if we were to take a $1,750 out of that, and then more likely that would be equal to about for the 6 weeks. Say for for the 6 weeks right there. So how much would it be like for those 6 weeks? Let's say it would be about $1,750 for the 6 weeks. So how much would that likely be per hour? Like let's say use on average is $5.50. So if we were to actually do the math, and knowing about if the question goes by is like that that compared to like most jobs, though, that they say that from how much money that we usually make on a paycheck, compared to taking schools and knowing for higher education, is knowing that that if we were to concentrate on passing our classes, and as well as doing well in school, and knowing that most students would more likely say that that whenever you go to school and you make friends, and knowing that a lot of times that they go to school and they're waiting for the semester to get over with, that type of stuff. And some that may say that, oh no, I'm like, we actually enjoy learning. We're more mature now, and we like studying this, and we're interested in this and that, and getting a job doing this and that, that type of stuff. But let's just say on average though, if the price that we could be paying is $5.50 an hour, you know, in the classroom, it's like if it was $5.50 an hour, $5 don't seem like a lot of money. But let's just say, on, you know, if we were to assume that $5.50 was how much we would be paying per hour in the classroom, and knowing that you know, yeah, that's not really, if it was a job, but then like most minimum wage jobs would pay about, you know, let's just say $6 an hour. So if you were to multiply that maybe times 7, you say 7 hours, you know, per week. Let's just say, you know, for 1 week, if we were to be like spend at least 7 hours in the classroom, about how much do we think that we would be spending? And I would probably say on average it would be about $130. $130, you know, to spend. It's like we're spending $130. See here, for let's say on average about per hour. So let's just say that would be equal to 48 hours, maybe 42 hours. Let's say 48 hours, 2 days. On average, about $130 is how much we're paying for 48 hours for 2 days of like studying for the works, you know, that, you know, for the assignment, and then of course your credit hours, you know, that type of stuff. So just keep in mind and knowing about, like, yeah, for let's just say for $5.50 an hour is how much we'll be paying, and just knowing about, you know, if we would be getting paid more. You know, it's like if we were to say, it's like don't go to college, is just knowing about how much money we make, you know, from, it's like, you know, to, it's like between, you know, getting our degree and like for education, as well as you know, working like, you know, under minimum wage jobs, you know, that type of stuff. But notice like the study is like for the math, it's like talk about, say, you know, for tuition, math, say payments. It's like you're talking about, it's like for tuition math, as you have right here is the math problem is talking about, it's like, you know, for $500, you know, $500 more likely is how much it would more likely cost for the whole day. It's like if it was, you know, from day and night, you know, going to the classes and knowing about, you know, it would be, you know, $5.50, you know, per hour, that, you know, how much we'll be paying. And then if we were to calculate that, and just knowing about, like, yeah, 500, you know, to 1,000, but on your hand, if we were to calculate that, and just knowing about, let's just say that if it was you know, $1,000, if it was $1,000 for one, you to take if it's for $1,000, if you're full-time or part-time, go ahead and use right here as like for full-time, part-time. Full-time or part-time. About how much money, if we were to do the math, is knowing how much money that part-time students that will be paying for the whole day. And more likely though that it's like, it would be about $500, you know, for, you know, $500, you know, per class, is in knowing that, you know, for part-time students that they may say to no, it's only $450, or maybe it's only $350, only $350, you know, for, you know, the classes that you take, and if you're going to be a part-time student. And really, you know, if it goes by asking a question to her that, you know, are part-time students paying less than compared to full-time students, and then on your hand, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that from how much money that we're making on an actual weekly allowance, is knowing about how much is that usually equal to. And if we would actually do the math and then figure it out, it's like, you know, yeah, that you know, are we making more money, or do you think that we may be making more money on our future job? And a lot of times that they say that, you know, yeah, I'm like, that all depends, but in a lot of ways that for most, that they say that, you know, for most jobs that to offer, like what you call like a career, and what you call like maybe for general study, you know, and that with the type of a field that we're planning on going, you know, the type of career that we're looking at, that, you know, and, you know, that counters, let's say, as for a college degree, is knowing about the, yeah, that let's just say on average about, you know, $500 a week is how much we could be making on a job, and then compared to like maybe one full class, and then knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that usually that, let's just say on average that $500 is about how much money that we're paying, you know, to be in class for about 8 hours total in one day. And some that may say that, well, you know, for like part-time, that on average, you know, $500 a week is how much we're paying. And so far with the 7 days is that if we multiply that and then you know, divide, I can say divide it and multiply it, and you have our years for 7 days, so that equals to about I'll just say on average to about you know, 45 hours. Let's just say you know, for most time with most part-time, if you're part-time students, it's like multiply your time 45 hours, and then if you pass the classes, and then as well as, you know, earn any type of grants, and, you know, on average it would be about $500 a week. So that would be about, you know, $5.50, you know, an hour, and then knowing that you know, for 48 hours, and knowing about how much that equals to about maybe $130 for 2 days, that type of stuff on average, if it would be about $500 a week, you know, for the classes, and for the and then for the semester will be between, on average, between $1,750 to $6,850. And if we were to actually do the math and doing it to figure out, knowing about, I'm like, yeah, $5 may not be a whole lot of money nowadays, but just thinking about how much you could pay for by the time we earn enough credits and pass our classes, and just thinking about that in the long run, that they may, some people that may believe that it will be coming back into the pocket, you know, as much as we study and then pass our classes, you know, do our studying and then do our assignments, you know, do our work, and I'm sure it'll be fine. But most of the time with most getting started students, and they may say that, you know, yeah, that you know, you're going to start seeing more debt, you know, coming one month after another, that you're going to start seeing more debt. But then in a lot of ways, it just seems like that really, would you rather have more debt, or would you rather have more work? You know, more work such as that you know, people are kind of understanding about what your study is. People are actually understanding about what your field of a study is, you know, for your major, and then they kind of, and then you know, you're now some that may say that, you know, it's good to have it to where companies and businesses are now understanding about your career flow, and then they're offering to help you, you know, willing to pay you for the work, you know, from your study. And usually that goes by the question to where that you know, for companies and businesses, you know, are they looking for, knowing about, you know, after they find you know, the profile, just saying, you know, for the profile, a profile or a resume, and it's like for a resume, that knowing about that you have right here is like for a profile or a resume, that if companies were to find out about your major and study, and then understanding about exactly about you know, for that for what you found, what your major was, and what your study was, for what you learned, and then of course, you know, type of a study field that it is, and knowing that, I'm like, really about, you know, how much money that more likely that could be paid into, you know, towards to how much we spent, you say, on the class. But I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, figuring out to do, but you know, the main reason why I'm doing this video here talking about is like for the math figuration, knowing about if it's, you know, 50 cents right here. I think at the beginning that said it was about you know, 50 cents per half hour, but let's just say that for 50 cents, you know, that don't 50 cents is not much money nowadays, it seems like, but let's just say that you know, for the most part, that you know, every let's just say every 5 minutes, maybe once a minute, something like that, you know, once a minute that we're paying 50 cents. You know, you know, it's 50 cents is not much money coming down nowadays, but let's just say for 1 minute that we're paying 50 cents. Every minute that we're paying 50 cents. You know, maybe every minute that we could be getting a point, you know, or so, a point or two, or maybe 5, 10, maybe 10 points at the most, you know, for doing our class assignments. But just think about if we were to calculate this and knowing about, you know, from $6,000 and then $6,850, and if you multiply it times, you know, per, you know, for the first year and then second year, it is knowing that really, but if we were to actually do the math configuration and paying our tuition, you know, that type of stuff, and doing the math and knowing about, are we paying more for the fact about we took the time to study and get our degree compared to like working a job that may not be paying, you know, as much, and as well as you know, teaching us the basic skills about, you know, for, you know, how to learn, you know, to read, and then that, you know, where, you know, operate programming, using computers, you know, technology, that type of stuff, and then that, you know, understanding about you know, studies, if it's general studies or any type, you know, any other type of degree, all those 145 or so different degrees out there in the world, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that I'm sure they may say that there is a school to where more likely it charges about $11,000 a semester at the most. It's some of them that could be maybe related to maybe you know, doctors. You know, for doctor's degrees, it's like, you know, for like the you know, if it's studying about medical research or something like that, you know, maybe engineering, and as well as you know, chemistry and science, scientifics, you know, any other type of studies. But if we were to actually do the math and knowing about $6,000 is a lot of money for most of us, I'm sure. You know, Mike, you can maybe, you know, even put a down payment on the car for about that much, for about maybe a fourth or so price. But let's just say on average, though, that if we were to actually do the math, you know, 50 cents a minute, let's just say that about how much percentage, you know, how much is 40% equal to? So, you know, 40% more likely, let's just say on average, if we were paying, you know, $150 a month, you know, for our tuition. So, you know, let's say, you know, between $150 to $190 a month, you know, for our tuition. And think about that, that, you know, compared to that kind of money, that more likely could be going to a car payment. But, you know, like talking about, I'm like, yeah, for like, you know, toys, and then as well as you know, automobiles and homes, you know, stuff like that. And just knowing about, it's like with the type of degree in education, that more likely today say that maybe we could pay, you know, we could be maybe paying you know, a little bit less. You know, it's like if the harder we work, it's like in the class, knowing about like pass our classes, and just thinking about that they usually say that, yeah, well, you know, grants sometimes are only about maybe you know, maybe close to about maybe 40% from how much is, you know, to pay back, you know, for any student loans it is. But then on your hand too, then knowing about, if we would actually do the math and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that really, it may not be enough to pay the whole thing back, but then, you know, whenever you earn your degree and then get a job, that more likely they say that like you start somewhere, and possible that maybe in the next year or two, that more likely that you know, there'll be job openings available to where that they said, you know, yep, well, if they're not, more likely to knowing about, you just got to give it some time. I'm sure they say that you know, with the type of career that we're planning on working at, knowing about that yep, from back those couple years ago, that knowing about, yep, what can you get for $5, huh? What can you get for $1? And knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that really, that there may be only a few things that maybe we can get for maybe a penny, but let's just say on average that you know, the harder work that we spend on equal time that we spend, you know, for education, I know about, for more likely that work will be able to pay on its own. That's all I say for the tuition math studies. So I say with to figure out the math, they say activity.